Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Built Different podcast made by Extropian. So, today we have a very special podcast in store for you guys. We have a 2022 recap. We're going to be going over this past year and what it meant for Extropian, what it meant for this community, and sort of a little bit of taste of maybe what's to come. All the greatest hits and everything that we've worked on this year, what we felt was most important, our biggest wins, our biggest challenges, everything coming from Justin, Sean, and of course, Ricky, CEO and founder of Extropian. So I kind of want to kick it off and start it off with Ricky. Ricky, how was your 2022? Let's start it off there.
I kind of want to ask you guys how your holiday went. How was Christmas for each of you? I'll start with you, Ro.
It was really good. It was really good. My holiday was really short, but only because it was so fun that I wish it was longer. I did a quick little week in Mexico to visit my family. I got to see my mom, both my grandmas, my aunts. We did like a cute little Christmas thing. My brother and I dress up in Santa hats and give out gifts. It's a fun time. Um, drank a fair amount of rum and whiskey. Always a good time. Uh, and yeah, it was one of the holiday highlights for me was that during this past week, I was over 65, 60 degrees the entire time. It was like there was like a high of 80 for most of the days that I was in Mexico. So I definitely escaped the polar cyclone vortex storm of the millennia that I know we're on the tail end of.
Um, so yeah, Justin, how about yourself? Justin, I know I was living vicariously through you through some of the pictures you posted, but how was your Christmas?
It was awesome. Me and my parents, we travel a lot. For the holidays and stuff, we always try to take a trip somewhere or something like that. And we went to Paris this time. And we've actually been trying to go to Paris for like the last couple of years, but because of COVID and Omicron and all that stuff, it's like we just could never get it to work out. But we finally got to go this time, and it's a beautiful city. It's much better than I was expecting. I loved it. I was absolutely not prepared for how cold it was, but other than that, it was a beautiful experience.
Yeah, I've been twice, and I like the people. The culture, the architecture is incredible. So, still living vicariously through you because I would have rather been there than home. But no, that's awesome to hear. Your dad didn't burn anything this year, did he? Or for Christmas dinner, like
No, 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 he didn't burn anything this time. We got a little.
cool, cool. Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm sure you were watching him closely.
Oh, we're
Um, Sean, how about yourself?
Mine was good. Stayed local, saw family, extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, uh, stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. Just spending time with some good people that are close to me, and we did like a Secret Santa, which was fun. Trying to guess who had you and who like the other person trying to guess you. Turned out that my dad had me out of like my whole extended family, which is funny because I already get presents from him anyways. So, um, and I had my cousin, and earlier, like in the night, he literally straight up asked me, he's like, "Do you have me in Secret Santa?" And I was on the spot, and I didn't know what to say, so I just said yes, because I did have him. But he thought, like, in his head, he was like, "There's no way that like he would admit to it if he actually had me." So he guessed like everyone else before he guessed me, and he's like, "You literally told me you had me." I was like, "Yeah, I know." Like, so it was funny. It was a good time. How about you, Ricky? How was your holidays?
It went well. We have a guest here, like cousin's friend's son. He's actually playing ball in Jersey, but he came. He's been staying with us, so it's cool having somebody else around. Got him tickets to the Lakers game, so he went to that. Um, and other than that, like I was happy. My meal, all my dishes came out perfect, man. I made the French onion soup, and it was good. It was like the hit of the Christmas dinner. And then the cookies that I messed up last time, I put too much damn salt in, and they were, I was choking when I first tried it. I perfected it. I got it done. And I called everybody out. I was calling names out. I was like, you doubted me, you slandered me, I was calling everybody out. I was like, I completely redeemed myself. I was happy. I yelled that out. I was like, what did I say? I was like, I redeemed myself. I screamed out, and everybody like turned like, what the hell is he talking about? And then that's when I started calling everybody. Remember what you said about me the last time I made these cookies? You said XYZ. You said this about me. You slandered me. So I was going after all the people that had talked trash, and like it was, with the new masterpiece that I had put out there. So that went well, and I made some cookie dough shot glasses that came out good too. So I was happy about all of that, and just happy to, like you say, Sean, be around people I love, and seeing people being happy about what you gave them, and yeah, that was my holiday, so I can't complain at all. So with that, going back to what you originally said, Raul, like 5 minutes ago, 2022, I feel like we got a lot done. This was like biggest year for Extropian yet. We're all gonna go into details, but yeah, this is by far the best year I've had personally. And with that being said, I'll let Sean. Sean, you kind of tell us what your reflections of 2022 were for Extropian and personally, and grow with the learning.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, definitely a lot has changed, since the beginning of 2022 to now. Like my role in the company has definitely changed a little bit. In a good way, I'm very happy with what I'm doing. I work more on the business side now, but um, yeah, there was a lot of progress that we made, and steps that we took, and um, additional people that we brought on as well that have been like blessings. So I think one thing that I thought was a real like motif for me throughout the year was kind of like, if you don't know how to do something or don't know what you're doing, like just try to figure it out and put in your best effort to try to get it done. And Ricky and I did that a lot this year. There was a lot of things where it was like we were asked to do something and we were kind of like, we'll just figure this out along the way, and we did figure it out, and we'd come back and present it, and they'd be like, wow, like you guys did such a great job with this or that or whatever. And it was like, cool, like we didn't mess it up. So it's like that was something that I thought was really cool. And it's constantly learning and getting better at things, and growth. And then I think the highlight of the year for me, I would say, was probably like it's kind of two parts, but the name change, and then like the branding the rebranding. That was a big thing. Definitely opened my eyes to a different way of looking at business, a different way of looking at how to build a community. I thought that was really cool and something that I hadn't really considered. And then just the name itself, Extropian. I love the name. I think it's really going to be something that one day it's going to be a household thing. People are just going to be like, oh, like there's my Extropian, and yeah, I think those were the two things that like really were highlights of the year for me. How about you, Justin?
For me, I would say first of all, it's finishing grad school, which that feels so long ago. It almost doesn't even feel like it happened this year. But yeah, that program, the data analytics program that I was in, which ultimately led me to meeting you guys. Yeah, it was an interesting program. It was definitely very challenging. I didn't come from a computer science background or like a statistics background, so then to have to learn machine learning in the second semester was a lot. But I worked with a lot of good classmates and stuff, and ultimately I made it through the program. So that was a big like personal achievement for me, that I could make it through something that was so daunting for a long time. But then I would also say, like, just like I said, meeting you guys and being a part of this, I heard about what you guys were doing back my first semester, like in 2020. And I remember I was like, oh, I'm going to bookmark that. And whenever, later on in the program, I'm going to hit them up and see if I can intern with them. And I did. And things have been working out pretty great. I mean, I feel like we've accomplished so much this year, and I feel like my role in this company has grown from just being like a data scientist to now I help out with like the business side of things too, which I think is super cool, and I'm excited to see like what's going to be next for us next year.
Yeah. No, and I think that's one of the things I love the most about 2022 is, and anybody that comes into this always want people to learn and grow. Like, you know, what I've told, like I told both of you, and I tell anybody that comes into this, is like, I want you to get out of this what you want to get out of it. You know what I mean? If you want to learn something, if you want to grow in a certain area, and I feel like we accomplished that this year. Um, Me personally, I'll go into myself in a little bit after I kind of talk to Raul about his perspective on 2022. But I felt like I've grown a lot. I still have a lot more growing to do, but yeah, I felt like I've grown a lot. I've learned a lot, and yeah, I think I'm thankful that you guys were able to as well, because that's what I want for you guys as well, is not to feel like you're stuck in just doing the same thing over and over again. Because I've been there, and I want it to be like fun to do what you do every day, and that there's growth that comes out of this. That like somebody can come to you and ask you to do something, or somebody can friends can ask you for advice on something because you've done it. And I feel like that's happened. I feel like 2023, that's really even going to take off even further, get even crazier for all of us. So I'm excited. But before I kind of go into mine, because I feel like there's a couple things I want to address that I think you guys are all going to kind of pivot off of. But Raul, from Agora Media, like we always, I was trying to thank you as much as I can on here, but a lot of stuff you do goes unthanked. We're not able to thank you on here about it, but thank you number one for everything you and Adrian do, Agora Media, and podcast, all our socials, and I mean, you laid out a beautiful plan for 2023 that we're excited to embark on with you guys. But from your personal growth and everything that Agora accomplished this year, and even things that you accomplished with us as a client, like what was your reflection of 2022?
I mean, I really want to echo some of the points Justin, you, and Sean mentioned, specifically two. One is this is a year of growth. This was a year where we really took on that bigger look into the world. How do we rebrand for scalability? How do we rebrand in time for actual product production? Like how do we get ready, so to speak? So that was that sort of first step that I really loved looking into that. The rebranding process was fun, as hard as it was fun, as challenging as it was interesting, And I think the other side of it was I was incredibly interested in movement marketing as a concept. We had the wonderful Alex come in and speak to us about the different ways that we can approach what we're doing, not as sort of like a traditional 1950s style logo brand, but as something that people can believe in, right? Like as something that people can sign up for and feel in the bottom of their heart, and really pursue, and what it means to be a part of something greater. So I really like that as a lesson in, more organic marketing, more organic growth, a way to connect with people in a better way. I was blown away by those conversations. They were there for those calls. I couldn't stop asking questions about movement marketing. It was just too interesting. But yeah, I would say that really, at least in terms of Agora, working with Extropian, the amount of growth that I had on my end parallels the kind of growth that Extropian went through. So it was incredible this year to see that.
How about your time with Agora Media? You and Adrian, your partnership, and anything that you guys learned about your journey as entrepreneurs?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I actually just went down. Part of going down to Mexico is seeing the extension of Agora's team in Mexico, Punto Uno, our design team and our creatives, and mapping out the next year. And we start to see these sorts of trends and get ready for the next year. And obviously there's things like focus. There's concrete things like focusing on video is a concrete switch in terms of the landscape. But then there's also like fun conversations in terms of the types of clients that want specific types of work. So, for example, we were discussing how certain clients want marketing firms to look, how can I put this, almost like cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And we actually don't want to go for that. That it feels like that sort of old media, traditional media look is on its way out. So I feel like a lot of those larger conversations are being had. In terms of Adrian and I making these sorts of next step plans, I am very interested to see what the digital world has to offer. I know that the beginning of 2022, Adrian was very bullish on crypto and the NFT space and the metaverse.
Yes.
He has since been a little quieter on that.
He's not here to defend himself. Shots fired. Shots fired.
Shots fired. But he said, let's let it wait. Let's let it marinate. Let's see what happens. Because we both think that that sort of digital, virtual, or augmented reality experience, it's still going to be incredibly powerful. How it will be incredibly powerful. Maybe the next year has a lot more to tell us. It could be something where the tech isn't baked yet, so to speak, right? Fully baked.
Yeah.
In terms, it's always fun to see how the beginning of 2022 started and how it turns into something else by the time 2023 rolls around.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to be fun about our next episode, like a little teaser for what we're going to do for the first of the year. But, looking at what you kind of put on paper or your thoughts, a lot of people have resolutions. But as a company, kind of putting our thoughts as far as goals, and it'd be cool to see what your goals are for Agora as well, Raul. But then following up in an episode like this at the end of the year and seeing what, we accomplished, like, because I think what happened this year, I think we went, we have a lot further to go, in my opinion. Like there's never an end point for what we're doing. I think there's always going to be like that next hurdle that we're trying to get over. Even when we get this to market, there's going to be that hurdle. Okay, let's do this next iteration. Let's make it better. Let's, improve everything. Let's make the community better. Let's make the data more impactful. But I think, Sean and Justin could attest to this, and Raul, you probably can as well. But where we thought we would be at this point last year, I mean, we went a lot further than we had envisioned at the end of last year. So truly happy about that. I mean, it's been a wild year. I mean, one of the things that were one of our focuses at the end of last year was manpower. We were manpower, woman power. We felt like we were lacking severely. And I don't know, like leaps and bounds, we grew in that area. It seems like every couple of months we add somebody or somebody comes in that's interested to work with us.
In addition to that, Ricky, I feel like with Extropian, there's a phrase that I've heard before, finding the right people for the right seat, right? Or the right people for the right job. There's like two levels to the growth that you guys had. Not only did you bring in simply more people, more incredibly qualified people, you've also managed to, over time, place them in these roles that make them winners. Like Justin and Sean's growth on the business side of Extropian has been incredible. The leaps and bounds that this company's been able to make because of their contributions was in part because of these open conversations within the company of like, what do you like doing? What interests you? What are you good at?
Mm-hmm.
And
I agree with you 100% there, Raul. And that's something I had to kind of come to grips with. Is like there would be people that would come into this project and promise, oh, we're gonna do this, and oh, I believe in it, and they would leave. They would ghost me. A lot of them would strangely like our episodes and stuff or whatever we put on our LinkedIn. I'm like, you know, it is what it is. But at that time I was frustrated. But I started to tell Sean like, and Justin's heard me say this as well. Like, when one door closes, the better one opens. And luckily, the right door's open with Sean, Justin, Tao, Bhuvanesh, Alex, Tao's husband, Matthew now, Chris, Daniel, Gino and Dan, just everybody that's kind of came into this. It's like, I was frustrated at that time, like, man, but it was only, it was meant to be that that happened that way because the right people in the right seats came about. So, and that, I think with that's what's led us to like, kind of grow leaps and bounds this year in comparison to the past few years is we had the right people. And I think that was one of the most impressive things that happened in 2022 is like, man, we got some really, really talented, gifted people that came into this, and they came in at the right time. You know what I mean? We had questions about manufacturing, and Tao came in like right away and filled that gap. We had questions about finance. We had Matthew kind of come in and help us out. You know, Things just kind of fell into place at the right time. It was just this. I mean, it was really weird, like really weird and strange in a good way. Um, but yeah, the patent was another big thing. That's something, it's kind of always up in the air. Am I going to get this or not? You don't know what the examiner is going to find, but literally we had, and Sean can attest to this, we had a call where we were going over things with advisors and stuff like that. Advisors, mentors, and it was that I scheduled the meeting. The meeting was for Friday. I scheduled it on Tuesday. Wednesday, my attorney called, our attorney, I should say, called and told me that the patent had been, that we were good, like everything passed. The examiner didn't come back with any rebuttals. So we granted the application. And so we got to go onto that call and actually explain, like, surprise them that we got it. I mean, the timing of things was crazy this year. The mentorship, I think, was a big thing for me as well. That was always my thing with starting this business was to learn and grow. And like, it's not just, what you do on a day-to-day basis, but who you become through this journey. And, thank God for like everybody that's came in here. Like we've had learned from like people that have done what we want to do, gone where we want to go, and the lessons that we've learned from them and the advice that we've gotten from them. It's kind of a form of protection as well because one thing you want to do in business is eliminate like any pitfalls that you can fall into on the way, and they'll tell you no, I wouldn't do that because this happened to me. No, you should structure things this way because it's going to help you in the long run. And for the most part, everything that they've said has came to pass. So
And
and we avoided big areas where we could have fell in a pit that we'd have to climb out of.
just touching on that too, I think one big thing that's kind of come from this year as opposed to previous years is before we always had obviously Ricky as CEO of the company and the leader, but now I feel like there's a lot more of a leadership team, like just a larger group that's kind of and that's kind of all working together and providing, this person has their specialty here, this person has their specialty there, and like Ricky Kona said, like we have everyone who has their specific skill sets and their strengths, and obviously everyone also has their weaknesses, but if you have the right people in place, then everyone else's strengths should be able to cancel out with whatever weaknesses the rest like you might have. So, and I do think we have that. I think we have a lot of people who bring a lot of experience and a lot of expertise in, and I give Ricky a lot of credit for bringing in those people and kind of leading the charge through that. So bravo to Ricky too.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time though. We're like, we look back where we were like a year ago and we're like, damn, like it's crazy that this person, we have this person now, and they have this. I think what comes with it too is the network and not only the expertise but the network, and some of the connections that we've been able to establish through these individuals is incredible. Like we get on calls and we all talk about it, and it kind of blows our mind. Like, damn, we can actually potentially be a couple of degrees separation from this person, that person, or this industry or that industry, because there's a relationship there already. I think we really got lucky with the people that we have and the team that we've built. That those connections are already in place. Where other people might be having to reach out and cold call and try and develop those relationships. We kind of already have them in place, and it's just like, hey, meet Extropian meet this person, and we can kind of flush things out from there. I think too it's just learning. Like I've learned so much this year, and I know Justin, Sean, and even Raul, know a lot of us learn things that we never thought we'd learn. Stuff that we weren't taught in school, stuff that you don't learn in college. You know what I mean? We've learned those lessons. Like I'm constantly one thing that I've that became apparent this year is just how many different hats I had to wear. From the financial side to like now manufacturing, the legal side, the employee side. Like it's really incredible. I think that's one of the biggest takeaways I had this year is, it feels like, you're kind of being pulled from all these directions, but it's a great thing because it's like progress is being made. Um, so yeah, I mean, more than anything, the learning, and then just like I said, everything just fell into place at the right time. The manufacturing, the chips, that was a hurdle that we got over, actually acquiring those things. But throughout everything, we learned, like I said, like who thought we'd be like sourcing chips and doing the research on that and learning about materials and material science. And I don't know, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like a well-rounded person, like in a world where everybody's just kind of, this person has their thing or that thing, or just like really, shallow individuals. I feel like all of us on this call are becoming more well-rounded individuals. And I think nothing's cooler than having and I kind of get this from the mentors is like, it's really cool sharing knowledge with other people. Because, and then that's what I got from the relationship we have with our mentors and advisors is like, they're never out of reach. They're always willing to help. And I think, deep down it makes them feel good. And I've had friends, loosely reach out to me about business stuff now. I'm like, cool. Like they actually respect me and, see that I'm actually doing something that's, that they can kind of ask me these questions. There's confidence in me. And, that's what I want going forward is to be able to be able to help people and have a network like our mentors and advisors do to help anybody accomplish whatever they want to do, but also, just sharing the knowledge with them. So hopefully that's what comes out of it. Selfishly, that's what I want for all of us is to have that well-roundedness that, we're developing through what we're learning every day and the different things that we're doing. So, um, yeah, I mean, I think that encompasses everything that I was thinking for 2022 is just the people we brought in, the everything just fell into place at the right time. The advisors and mentors we have, the network we built. Every couple of months, we just feel like we're having some new people and new talent coming into this thing. So yeah, just really really excited about 2023, and extremely happy with 2022 and how we placed ourselves.
And another thing too that I'd like to give a shout out to, and Ricky, I'm sure you can talk more about this as well, and Justin, is our sponsored athletes.
Yes.
I think, it's crazy that, with where we are still, we're still a very young company. We're still, developing a lot of things, but we've had a couple people who have kind of taken the leap and, supported us and, shouted us out. And I've had the pleasure of meeting a couple of them. I don't think I've met everyone on the team so far, but yeah, no, I want to thank them as well for believing in us and, for supporting us. And hopefully we're able to continue to support you guys and on your journeys, as fighters. And yeah.
Yeah, and Justin, I don't know if you wanted to mention anything about them. You've been to a couple fights and met them. Sean kind of posed it to you, so I don't know if I'm stepping on your toes here.
Well, yeah, I actually got to train with some of the sponsored fighters. To train with Andre, I got to train with EJ and get beat up by them. But yeah, like they're phenomenal athletes. You know, I got to watch, or me, Raul, and Ricky. We got to watch Chris fight and win a title back in, I want to say, June. I think that was.
That was
They're
incredible.
Yeah, that was a great fight. I was very impressed by Chris's skills, but yeah, just the fact that like so early on we're still able to find people like that these athletes that are kind of like up and coming themselves in their own careers, and that we're kind of both like growing together, and they're willing to support us, and we're able to support them. It's a very cool sort of symbiotic relationship, and I think next year is going to be. I think next year is going to be great for both us and our sponsored athletes.
Yeah, and just a way to throw your self into the job as well. Throw your body into the job and get beaten up and everything. But no,
Blood and sweat.
you could blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah. But no, yeah, we want to shout them out as well. Good call, Sean. Can't forget about them. Ronnie, first of all, for making the connections. Ronnie and Team Straight lead. Bree, EJ and Invictus MMA. Andre, Chris, he's out of the jungle, MMA, but he won that belt. That was a really cool moment as well. And each of them, they've been great as well. Anything that we need, if we want to take pictures, if we want to put their logos on our logos on the shorts and everything. They're cool with it. They're down for whatever, and it's like Justin said, a symbiotic relationship that I'm really thankful for. Because yeah, they're great people, all good fighters. Great fighters, in their different skill sets. But yeah, we really want to push that forward next year, and as we grow, as they grow, we kind of grow together. But yeah, they, hopefully we can feature them more on the podcast this upcoming year. But yeah, they I had another thought about them that I can't remember right now. But yeah, thankful for them, thankful for Ronnie, EJ, kind of the coaches there, and then the fighters. We're looking forward to more belts in the stable. Also too, I think one of the things I was going to mention was travel. It was really great doing company travel this year. Got to see Sean's more competitive side.
Got to meet
Out
me
there.
in general.
Yeah, got
Yeah,
to meet Sean.
that was nice.
Yeah, if you think about it, yeah, we shoot like it
This
seems
was a
like so
year.
far away, but like yeah, it was a year, man. March we were Fort Lauderdale. What Aug
I
no
think Orlando
Ju-
in April,
Orlando in April. June we went to Denver.
Colorado. Or yeah, Denver.
July August first day of August we went to Atlanta.
Yep.
And
Hey,
there's more trips planned.
too.
You say what, Sean? Justin?
The UFC fight in Jacksonville. That was the first time I met you guys in person.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's a pretty cool first meeting. Is at a UFC fight, right?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was the first time we actually met in person. So no, we got to travel and do a lot of things. The other person I wanted to shout out as well was Alex and also Thomas, Purpose Pioneers. As Raul mentioned, that was they developed the movement marketing by which we kind of progressed our thoughts on branding and marketing, and what we kind of utilize as our our tool belt to to kind of innovate and trying to bring this community together. So thank you to Alex and Thomas, and that was a great trip out to Colorado, meeting Alex and sitting down with her because it really changed our perspective, and it's what built got us towards Extropian in the name, and making it a more diverse name for everybody, and essentially making it into a cause and a powerful movement. So thank you to Alex for that. So anything else anybody want to say? Because I was going to pose a question to each of you.
I'm ready for the question.
Okay, so Justin, what was like the most challenging time that you think you had this year? The biggest hurdle?
I mean, like while working with you guys, because I was gonna say grad school.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we knew that one, but like Extropian.
With Extropian, most challenging time. I don't know. I think just like the most challenging like aspect of this year was just patience. Because it felt like there was a lot of time. We had a lot of things that were just like on hold, or like it wasn't quite time for us to do things, and so we just had to be patient and for like the wait for the right time to to start working on certain things or to announce things, like even like changing the name of our company. I think we were all really excited about that, but we wanted to make sure we announced it, strategically. We wanted to make sure that it was done right. And there's so many other things like that it took time, and as much as we wanted it to get done fast and we wanted to just move on to the next thing and just get done and grow this company as fast as we could, we had to slow down and just be patient. And I think because we did that, I feel like we were growing this company in a very organic way, and I think it's everything's really turning out the way they're supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. Sean, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge that I can think of, and I know Ricky's gonna remember this. There was one meeting that Ricky and I had.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah,
I knew you were gonna.
probably halfway through the year, and we have a lot of meetings. This meeting did not go the way that we wanted it to go. We were expecting it to go a lot better, and it did not. And I think that was a very, very good lesson. Because, it's easy when all the meetings are going great and, every news is good news, it's like the honeymoon phase of a relationship. It's like, oh, cool. Like it's wonderful. But, having a meeting that didn't go well, it was like, kind of like, okay, wow, we really need to reevaluate where we're at and like, get our butts in gear. And I think it really kind of pushed us further than we would have gone on our own, and in a good way, and it really like helped us kind of like get back on track and get back to where we needed to be. So I think that was a big challenge, but also a big lesson, and it led to plenty of big accomplishments too. From failure comes accomplishments and success.
Yeah, we got our asses handed to us. That was going to be mine as well. We got our asses handed to us, but from that point on, we never had another meeting like that again. Like
No.
we made sure we came correct in every other meeting after that, because it was not a fun time. I think for myself, it's this right here. Like I've never been a huge social media person. Not big on taking pictures or even recording anything, putting it online, but getting comfortable being uncomfortable. That's kind of what we learned back in school at the DeVos, the minor. That's major.
Putting yourself out there, right?
Yeah, putting myself out there, getting comfortable with this, getting comfortable with stuff being posted. I've been very, very I very much wanted to like keep everything close to the vest with the product, the vision, everything. Like, but just it feels good to get it out there and talk about it, and to get people, saying things about it, and it's part of that journey. So that was kind of my hurdle I needed to get over, is my comfortability of just being on a podcast like this. And again, thank you, Raul, for setting all this up and talking every week and listening to myself, because it's weird hearing yourself for the first time. So yeah, that was one of my big hurdles, because Sean took the other one where we got our asses handed to us. But Raul, how about yourself with the Gore Media? And maybe it could be working with us. Maybe it's like things that you figured out, like your biggest hurdle that you had to overcome.
Yeah. So like sometimes I think I want to say that some of the biggest challenges were the more concrete ones. Like Sean and I both know that researching intellectual property law in Spain is not as fun as it sounds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes, yeah, that's where the mind goes immediately. It's just things like that, right? Where it's like it's challenging in the sense that it's not everyone wants to do that, but I think one of the most healthy challenges that I had on behalf of Agora and also with Extropian was a bit of a transition where my business partner and I we went into a more targeted definition of roles, and I think that kind of as companies grow or as companies mature, they go from a sort of all hands on deck scenario where everyone is doing everything to maybe sort of what Extropian is seeing, where there's the formation of a leadership team, and within that leadership team, there's designations to who's the leader of what, and underneath those leaders are specific employees in specific departments, and so on and so forth. As opposed to maybe early in a startup's life, everyone is an everythingologist, right? Everyone is essentially the left hand to the founder. That growth, I'm sure you guys can speak on it just as well or even more so from the Extropian side, but that growth is not easy. Having to define those roles, having to pick up the work that is either new to you or new to the entire company. This is just the thing that is being introduced to Extropian, and now you guys have to tackle, or being introduced to Agora, and now we have to tackle. That was a huge thing. There's a few of those things, whether it be sort of the idea of, and this is going back to Alex and some of the things she taught us, setting up that sort of omnipresent strategy, which means that we want Extropian to be everywhere. So we wanna put us on. We're on Pinterest, man. We're everywhere now.
Be on Pinterest, yeah.
Well, it's good for SEO, at least. It's good for image search. But yeah, the point is though, there's kind of two answers to that for me. There's that sort of the difficulties of strategy, of decision making for the long term, and then there's some of those pain points over the year that like we had to sit down and like Sean said, find a solution to something, or really really just figure it out. And those were some of the toughest challenges.
Yeah, we've all built up like scar tissue over this year, but it's we heal, and it's it's like a beauty mark at the end of the day, like war wounds. Really quickly, because I know we're wrapping up for time. What was the like kind of breakthrough, or like the kind of like the cool moment, the dope moment, the wow moment of this year for you, Raul?
I would say for me, it was pretty recent, actually. It was our first guest. It was once we had Dr. Polly Gloves on for our podcast. I was like, okay, this is cool. We are not. It's like the road to legitness. It's the road to legitimacy. It's the road to us being a company that represents, speaks with and for fighters, speaks with and for athletes. It's something where we're having these sort of in-depth conversations with the actual community. I was amazed. That felt like, okay, this is what we've been literally working towards. So to me, that was a really big win for Ricky to be able to land a guest like that, and for us to be able to invite him into the podcast and have him over. And that's you guys should go check out that podcast after you're done watching this one. Dr. Polly Gloves, I believe it's episode 11.
Justin, how about yourself?
I would say a really cool moment for me is just the fact that the name change, I think, was really, really cool for me to be a part of. I feel like I came into this company at a very like transitional time. I feel like I came in back when we were advancing technologies and we were Sensei and all of those things, and I feel like just slowly as the year went on, we really transformed into like Extropian, this one singular company, this one name, and there was no confusion. There was just, this is what we are, and it felt like, I don't know, it felt like a butterfly coming out of its cocoon or something. It felt like a beautiful moment to be a part of, and it's cool to say that I was there when the company got started, or when the company changed its name. It was a very cool moment.
Quite poetic words from Justin Kim there. Thank you, Justin. A beautiful analogy. Sean, how about yourself?
Yeah, Justin stole mine. I was also going to say the name change. I think and Ricky knows a little bit that the old name was a little bit of, a it was good. We liked it, but at the same time, not having a legal trademark protection over it was a little bit of a difficult thing. And so getting the new name, getting going through the process of filing a trademark and stuff, it was cool, and it was something that I've really enjoyed, and something that I'm like cool, like Justin said, we have a very clear direction now. We have clear branding, clear vision, and we're all kind of moving now as a stronger cohesive unit. And I think that's something that I think really ramped up with our work with Purpose Pioneers and the movement marketing, like Raul mentioned, and really also when we did the name change and kind of like we redefined ourselves a little bit. So we love that word, redefine. So I had to throw it in there.
That's what we're doing on a daily basis here, man. No, it was ours. We owned it. You know what I mean? It feels good to own it. Like Sensei Advanced Technologies, it was it floated and it was floating around. Now this is us. This is who we identify as. You know what I mean? This is our mark that we leave on everything. So I agree with you both on that. I think for me, one of my personal ones was the patent, because there was always still that fear of somebody else doing what has been my vision, my dream. And so I was like, man, somebody could literally steal this out from under me, even though we've developed a prototype and we're doing all these things. Somebody can literally steal our thunder, unless, we go to court and battle it out, which I never wanted to do. And, shout out to Roy also for all his work this year. Roy Zachariah, phenomenal attorney. But, the day that we got that, I was like, okay, we're solidified. Like we can, as much as we can protect this thing and protect this idea. And more than anything else, it let me know that we still are very unique in what we're doing. Like nobody else out there, as far as we know, at least from the legal side, is doing what we're doing right now. And through our research and everything, we haven't seen anybody doing what we're doing, but it solidified that in my mind, like, okay, now we were protected, and now we can, pioneer this thing the way I envisioned it from the beginning. And, that also propelled me, and propelled my thinking, like, let's, get after this now, So, with that being said, any final words from anybody about 2022? Any other reflection points we didn't talk about? Everybody good?
I think I'm good.
So, obviously this podcast we're growing. We're, bringing people into this community, and 2022. Thank you all for all of you that tuned in, and we hope that more people come into this community, join us, have conversations with us, like our content, make comments in the comment section. Going into 2023, we want to build this community. We want to get stronger. We want more people to hear our message and learn about us. We want to educate more people on what we're building, and we want to reveal this thing to everybody and knock everybody's socks off, which is, we know we're going to do when we reveal this thing. So thanks for sticking in there with us for 2022. Hope everybody has a blessed 2023. And, we can't wait till next week when we kind of look ahead. Always thinking of that next hurdle. That's what I do. And I'm already thinking about 2023 and what we got to get done, and how we're going to knock people's socks off with this. So that being said, thank you for joining us on this final episode of the Built Different Podcast 2022. Kissing it goodbye, and we're going to smooch with 2023 here in a little bit. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year.